Welcome to New Rose Glow. I'm doing Annabe's 7-step formula to success in her School of Affluence, and I am on day 28. I'm on step 6, and I don't know what module number I'm on, but it's pretty high up there. I have been working these modules for 28 days now, and I thought by now I would have been through all the videos and all the text and all the workbooks, but I'm not. So I changed up the way that I'm approaching it. At first I was watching the videos, reading the text, and then doing the workbook. Watching the videos, reading the text, doing the workbook. And now I think I'm just going to power through all the videos and then do the workbooks at the end, because I do want to absorb a lot of the content. Every time I get new content, I like to practice a little bit and try it out and see if I can start using the tips really soon. It's changed the way I approach people going through the modules. And I feel like it's so beneficial that I want all the information now, and because it's taking me a while, I just decided I would just power through the videos. So I will be doing the workbooks at the end. I'll probably do a small refresher of the videos and then go back to the workbook. So that's the way I'm going through the module. So if I skip anything and end up going back, that's because I am doing this back and forth kind of thing. Things I've learned so far. So in module 6, not module 6, in step 6, with all the modules that are in step 6, we're really talking about finances and being able to identify opportunities within people who are affluent. And some things really sparked for me, like not just how to spot someone who's across the room who, has good quality clothes, has an interesting scent, or, maybe wearing something interesting, or maybe they have, my friend told me this, a really expensive haircut. So not just those things, which I feel are fairly basic, the advanced things that really go on when you're going through the School of Affluence. You're going to hear about some of the things that people talk about, like affluent activities, or maybe the schools they go to, or just there's just a list of things. And things that I'm personally going to be listening for are keywords for people who own their own businesses and who are doing well, or who are really business minded. I'm an entrepreneur, on the side. I have my own business, and I like meeting other business people. I love that person who has built themselves up from nothing and is able to, start a business, make another business, sell a business, go back and forth. That kind of person is just so attractive to me. So being around people like that, whether it's romantic or platonic, is so appealing. So I want to hear more of those keywords that they might be saying. And I learned some probing questions to ask people when I'm around them. And one question I'm definitely going to ask them is, what was that question? Oh, yes. Okay. So if I want to figure out if somebody has their own business, I want to ask them, about what their work hours are like. So I'm like, oh, so are you available during this time, or do you need to be gone through Monday through Friday? If they're like, oh, my hours are flexible, well, then that might allude to them owning their own business. And if their hours are they decide, then maybe that might allude to them being higher up in that business or further along in that business. So that's the question I might be asking. There is a list of questions, and I think maybe I'll post a few of the questions that I plan on asking people. Yeah, then you can just see the whole conversation. So I learned about how to spot people who are affluent in a room, and I also learned about the people who are already in my life who are affluent, who I haven't even been paying attention to, because I expected people who are affluent to look a certain way. You're supposed to have logos all over you from different brands. You're supposed to have bling, shiny jewelry, and things like that. And because I didn't see those markers, I didn't just equate them with being an affluent person. But I'm learning now that there are a lot of other visual markers that can tell you whether someone's affluent. There's even cues when people are talking that'll tell you whether or not they're affluent. I am going to start going out more and meeting people and being more comfortable being around people, I started thinking about all the reasons why I don't interact with affluent people as often. And one, because I actually have to leave my, like, convenient space. I have to leave my work. I have to leave my close circle of friends. I have to actually leave my house if I'm going to go and meet new people. And I also have to leave my comfort zone. I like being around people who are like me. It's really easy to have a conversation. It's really easy for me to like do a gesture or make a joke and know that I'm not going to be outside of the realm of etiquette for that group because the bar is really low. So there's no way you're going to upset anyone or make them feel uncomfortable. Um, I also tend to be a little bit more reserved when it comes to casual conversations. I don't like to give out my personal information. And things that I've learned going through the School of Affluence is that people who are affluent might grill you a little bit when it comes to who you are and what your influence is in society, because that's important to them and they think about those kind of things. And because I haven't been thinking about those kind of things, it's a little uncomfortable for me to answer those questions. But if somebody asks me like what I do for work or how I spend my free time outside of, what do you like to do for fun, then, or what my parents do, if somebody asks me what my parents do, I might get a little uncomfortable, but that's something that I should be looking out for, and I have to have answers prepared for that. So I'll be working on what my answers are going to be. I also, when I'm around people that I don't feel comfortable with, I just talk too much. I try to impress them by saying like, oh, look how smart I am. Let me just say a bunch of smart things. Or look how much I know about this subject. And it can be off-putting. So it's really important that I try to listen a lot more and understand where other people are coming from. I also, and oh my gosh, I also turn into the entertainment piece at times. If I'm really uncomfortable, I'll try to make people laugh or try to at least make myself laugh. And sometimes I can dance a little too wildly or be too loud or just dominate situations that I don't need to be dominating. It's entertaining for other people, but I don't need to come in as like the party gag. I need to be one of the people who belongs to the party. Um, I think that goes without saying. Like, don't be the clown at the party. Other things I tend to do is leave situations when I get uncomfortable. If you've ever been in maybe a zone where everything is in the realm or the industry that you're in, like I'm an artist. So if I go to an art event, I feel really comfortable there. I feel like all the people there are all artists as well or art lovers. They're all talking about art. They're talking about something I know a lot about. So nothing's going to go over my head. I'm not going to feel uncomfortable. But if I go to an affluent place and they're talking about yachts or private school, something that I have no idea about, then I might get uncomfortable and want to leave. And I've gotten to this point where sometimes I go into a situation and I just feel like this pressure in my face and all the blood is rushing to my head, and I just give up and I'm like, I should go home right now. I should go to my bed. I think that when I'm out of my element, that's when it happens the most, and I feel all that pressure. So what I'm going to work on are breathing exercises and mentally preparing myself to go in there as one of them. I am one of you. And that's what I'm going to have to repeat to myself is I am one of them. I belong. I also like conversations to end very quickly. So it's weird. I talk a lot, and then I want you to end the conversation. Okay, goodbye. And then next person. And it's not that I want to keep meeting more people. It's just that I feel like making a connection with a person can be so scary. So I don't want to risk us trying to bond and failing. So I just want to leave the conversation. And then I don't know how many of you have this issue, but staring. I used to not look at people when they spoke to me, and I think it was my teacher who told me that you should look people in the eyes when they're talking to you. It's more respectful. So I started looking people in the eyes. really looking people in the eyes. And I would stare for so long that I could tell they were feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Like it was just too intimate for the situation. So I need to practice looking away more and not just staring at the person. Um, and this is something that I feel like has happened more recently in the last maybe 6 years or so as I've been transitioning into closer to middle of my years. Uh, Getting offended easily. So somebody will say something small and I'll pick apart exactly what they're saying and read between the lines and all of that. And there's no need for that because you should always assume the best of people. Even if they're doing something negative, you should try to have a positive outlook because it doesn't help you to be really negative and harsh and judgmental of someone. Um, and forgetting names. Okay, so I have done so many things to try to remember people's names, but unless we make some sort of emotional connection, I don't remember your name. So that's something I'm definitely going to work on. I read this book, Win Friends and Influence People, and one huge thing is remembering names. I think it was, if you don't remember names, you're in trouble. And I feel like I'm in trouble when it comes to that. I don't want to be at a party talking to someone who's really important for opportunities in my life and then I can't remember their name. So what I'm going to do is practice saying their name over and over during the conversation so that I can try to remember it better. I know there are tricks out there, aside from just that one. So if you know of more ways to remember names, please let me know because that is one that is just a real struggle for me. And the last thing I want to work on is focusing. So when I get really overwhelmed in a situation, I lose focus and I start looking at the person behind them and sometimes the people around, or I heard a sound, and it's just a mess. It's a mess to be staring at someone and then looking away off somewhere and then back, and it's messy. So those are the things I'm going to be working on to become a better person in front of affluent people when I do meet them, and the people that I have already known in my life, I'm going to try to do a lot better. I'd like to be a more engaged person where I can really connect with people and build lasting relationships, not just because I want opportunities, but because it's a good skill overall. I want to give you an update on what's happening with my education. Okay, so picture this. I go into work today. I haven't heard anything from HR. I called twice. I left messages, and I haven't heard anything back. I've been uneasy the entire week last week. The weekend, I've been thinking about should I even be preparing to go in today? Because if you don't know the situation, I am going back to school. I haven't been in school for like 10 years and I have one last class to take. I didn't take that last class because I started working full time. And once you start working in the industry, it's really difficult to keep taking classes as a student. So I decided to make money with the job in the industry instead of quitting that job and taking my last class. And fast forward 10 years later, I'm finally able to take the class. But there is a situation surrounding it. So I told my job that I needed one more class to take before I got my degree, before I got hired. And now, a year later of being at that company, they're saying that they don't remember me saying anything like that, and they're investigating whether I tricked anyone into hiring me without a full degree. This all got brought up because I said, hey, I'd like to take the last class that I need, and it may require me to go to school during working hours. Can I do that? And eventually the answer was no. You can't do that, but I convinced the professor at the school to allow me to take classes on Saturday, so now it doesn't affect my work at all. But then my work came back and said, we're going to do an investigation to see whether you swindled us into hiring you without a degree. So, with that backstory, the entire week I am uneasy because I don't know what to expect. HR said they'll get back to me. We'll figure out what the answer is going to be. And this morning, okay, now I need you to use your imagination. This morning, I walk into work and the head of HR is standing at the security gate, just smiling and looking at me. And I walk in and I'm like, oh, hey! And I say her name and, I just try to act really friendly, like I have no idea what's going on. But in my heart, I'm like, oh my gosh, is she here for me? And she's like, hi, I want you to meet so-and-so. She introduces me to another person. She's like, this is another person in HR. And I'm like, oh crap, there are 2 HR people waiting at the gate, looking and smiling at me. So I start freaking out like, oh my gosh, they're here for me. And I walk up and I'm like, so how's it going? It's so good to meet you. Like to the other person. Are you guys standing up here for an event? Just playing dumb. And they were. They were having a new hire event going on. So they were standing at the front of the gate to greet new hires. But my heart was pounding. I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening right now. They're going to call me into an office and then dismiss me. So that was my huge freak out. But then HR said, I know you've contacted me, but I haven't heard back from my person who I'm waiting to hear back from. So I'll have to get back to you later. Which isn't a great answer for me because I want to know now if I will still have my job. Will there be some sort of workaround? What is it? I have no idea what's going to happen. But I did talk to someone who was in a similar situation because she needed her master's to be a professor, but she still had one more class. So they told her to hurry up and get that class. And that was it. I don't know if that's going to be the same thing in my case, but I hope so. So what have we talked about today? We talked about where I am in the School of Affluence, where I am in my education, and / my job. But I haven't shown you my outfit. This is what I'm wearing today. It is a pink dress. So it's powder pink. I don't know if it looks white on the screen. And it has these ruffles. And then, I don't have to stand on this chair. It has this like flowy bottom. I really love this dress. It's so resilient. Once I went to a dog park with this dress on, and it got so muddy. It was just cased in mud because the dogs, they knocked me over and then ran all over me and I had mud all over. But it washed off so well. I love this dress. It's resilient. And this is my hair. Let me make sure I spin around so you can see it. Ooh, I don't want to knock over the tripod. It's 2 braids. And so I braided this right here all the way back. And so it makes like kind of a soft heart shape. And then I put like a clip-in extension right here and then covered it up with a ribbon. And that is how I'm doing my hair. I'm doing it like this week because I really want to start exercising. I haven't been exercising very much, just some light yoga, some stretching, some weights, but not cardio or anything strenuous because my hairstyles haven't really been hairstyles you should be sweating in. So now I'm wearing this for this week. I can sweat in this hairstyle. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with that. If you like content like this, you want to hear more about the School of Affluence or about my educational journey or just anything in general, please let me know in the comment section and I will do my best to do that. I would also be obliged if you would please subscribe to this channel and hit that like button. I make videos every 2 to 4 days. And yeah, I'll be making them more often. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.